American chambers of commerce in Europe are very important because Europe is the destiny for most US foreign direct investment. It is the most important overseas market collectively for the United States, and equally from a European perspective, US foreign direct investment is absolutely crucial to the welfare of the European peoples, and really we walk together hand in hand.
AmCham EU also hosts the secretariat of AmChams in Europe. And AmChams in Europe is a network of all the chambers all around Europe. There are actually 40 chambers in Europe and wider Europe.
Well, our chamber is, like any bilateral chamber, primarily focusing on trying to make Belgium a better place to invest, a better place to do business, and then provide real opportunities for what we call the US-Belgium business community to interact and to develop their business.
The American Chamber in Greece is one of the oldest American chambers in Europe. We've been 79 years in operation since 1932, and we are having about 1,000 members.
AmCham Croatia is actually quite active in promoting US business interests and US companies in Croatia, and also working quite diligently with Croatian government.
We're working with the Czech government and the US government to create a competitive climate both in the Czech Republic and in Washington that's conducive to trade and investment between the countries. And we do have a big pool of very highly skilled and influential managers.
Our group of members is 1/3 of Fortune 500 companies, so it is a very impressive roster. And our members, because they're so wonderful, they're very active and involved and engaged in what we do.
In the Romanian context, we are the largest business association, and there are many issues in which, when we speak, not only the public opinion listens, but the types of problems and issues we bring up are beneficial for the entire business community, not only for the members we represent.
AmCham EU's role is to help our member companies lobby and influence on the issues that impact their businesses. So all AmCham EU's activities are really directed towards getting those messages across effectively.
We see ourselves working with both governments to preserve this unique trade and investment relationship, which employs in the United States 1 million people as a result of UK direct investment. And it's balanced because in the UK, the United States investors employ 1 million people. It's a critically important relationship.
As we attract more US companies as investors, they create more jobs, they help the economy, they spend R&D dollars. For instance, 1 out of every $3 spent in Belgium on R&D is spent by US companies.
AmCham EU's member companies all have significant investments here in Europe, so it's very important for them to be represented here in Europe, and for those companies to have their views put across. What's also interesting is that once a year we also try to go across to the other side of the Atlantic, to Washington, to actually explain to decision makers in Washington what is happening in Europe, and actually what American companies are facing over here, what their issues are.
Well, definitely we think we have to provide some substantial business value to our members. Of course, networking, policy work, education, especially in Croatia, since we are approaching EU accession, this part is very important.
I believe that Slovenia is supportive of the chamber because we do want to be progressive. We want to help not only American business, but also Slovenian business.
A company should join the American Chamber in Greece because it's the most dynamic bilateral chamber in my country.
Well, we actually work very closely with a lot of NGOs because we very much believe that the business community has to take a leadership role, not in just economic issues, but on issues that are important to the prosperity.
And one important part of it is AmCham Young Professionals, and we are looking toward leadership, which is, I believe, important thing, not only in Slovenia, but also elsewhere.
It helps the United States because, first of all, if these companies grow, they develop their activities, it creates jobs certainly also in the US. And on the other side, of course, Belgian companies also have important activities in the US. It's a give and take. Belgian companies employ about 180,000 people in the US.
In Poland, we have the advantage that there's a huge positive sentiment towards America. Even though the geopolitics is changing, and even though Poland is a member of the EU, and we're closer in terms of education and politically to European Union countries and issues, then still America has a big place in people's hearts.
Every year, AmCham EU, based in Brussels, invites all the AmChams from all around Europe to Brussels and does a policy briefing.
It is important that different chambers, AmCham chambers from Europe, are coming together. Of course, it is important also for Slovenia because we can exchange our practices, we can format a really great, a big network, and I believe that our voice and the voice of business community is heard even more.
My vision for the future in terms of the network of AmChams around Europe is that we really move towards speaking with more of a common voice.
People talk about the importance of China, India, Russia and Brazil, the BRIC countries and the next 17 and so on and so forth. But our constant message is to remind people that the most crucial trade and investment relationship, business relationship for the United Kingdom is with the United States. We expect that to continue for a very long period to come, and we need to make sure that people actually are not led to believe that it's a relationship that is part of the past. It's definitely part of our present, it's part of our future.